English across the pond.
Hello, and welcome to English Across the Pond. This is a podcast made especially just for you, an English language learner, and it is brought to you by myself, Dan. I'm from England, and my good friend, Jennifer, from America.
Hey, how are ya?
Every week, this podcast gives you the opportunity to hear natural English and practice real conversations. Just before we get started today, a quick word about transcripts. Transcripts are every word that we say in this podcast written down so you can follow along. They are a great help for your listening, for your vocab, reading. They're a great help with everything. And if you'd like to get a transcript for this episode, then go to englishacrossthepond.com/episodes/60. Today, we're talking about stress. And Jennifer, I want to know, do you get stressed easily?
Yeah, I can.
At the flick of a switch?
Not that, well, I guess maybe Jack, my husband. No, not usually that quick. I try to be very calm. I try to be very patient. I try not to live in a state of stress because stress is so dangerous for your body.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Mentally and physically. But, you know, I'm a mom. I'm a mom now. I get stressed. I have another entire human being I have to think about and I have to keep alive.
Big responsibility.
Yeah, and so sometimes on top of, our own lives, our own work, our own friendships, our own stuff, when you throw a child in the mix, sometimes it just can be stressful. Period. Am I stressful?
Yeah, sorry.
Am I stressful in general? No, I try not to be.
Good. And just to back it up a little bit, I've got because I was thinking, what is it? What is stress exactly? So I've got a dictionary definition. Are you ready?
Yes.
I love dictionary definitions. They're so clear and so precise. So, mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or demanding circumstances. Isn't that good?
That is beautiful. I love the demanding circumstance.
Yeah, adverse, which means like difficult or demanding circumstances. So if something makes you stressful, you can say that it pushes your buttons or that it gets your goat. So what is it that pushes your buttons?
Oh, so like a pet peeve, more or less, right?
Yeah.
But I actually, don't you think a pet peeve is a little lighter?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a difference between getting irritated and being stressed.
Yeah, and we say a pet hate, and a pet hate or a pet peeve is just a little something that annoys you.
Yeah. So I don't think a pet peeve is necessarily as strong as getting stressed. This is kind of obvious. Stressful situations for me. I recently, in the last few years, have had to rely a little bit more on my glasses.
Oh.
Before, it was more I was on the computer and I would need my glasses. Now, I really need my glasses if I drive at nighttime. And a couple weeks ago, I was driving at nighttime and I didn't have my glasses. And I felt a little bit of stress coming on because I kind of got uncomfortable, I wasn't going to be able to see. I mean, it's not like I can't see, but signs are blurry.
Yeah.
So if I'm trying to find directions, it's kind of, I'll pass it and then I have to stop and I have to turn around, I'm not blind or I'm going to hit someone, obviously.
Yeah.
But that's kind of stressful. Or, not related to glasses, driving towards, in the direction of the sun when the sun's going down and it shines on your windshield.
Yeah.
And you can't really see, you literally cannot see in front of you. And if I'm having to turn in an intersection, that kind of stresses me out instantly because it's just that idea of driving and not being able to see.
That is pretty stressful.
So, I mean, like I said, that's kind of obvious, but that is a situation where I always am like, okay, breathe, breathe, breathe. And that's what I have to really just do. Like, calm down, getting stressed is not going to do anything. And I give myself a little pep talk.
Yeah, good. And that helps. So you think when you get stressed, you become quickly aware of the fact that you're getting stressed and try to like, calm down, Jennifer, it's just driving. You do all that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Can I give one more example that makes me stressed?
You can, yeah.
It happened the other morning, actually, as well. My husband's here, I'm here, my son's here. I'm trying to feed my son. I'm going to work, and my husband is leaving with my son, so he's like getting him ready to go out for the day. My son is still breastfeeding, so he requires like milk, and so I'm trying to get his milk ready and get his lunch ready. I'm trying to get myself ready. My husband's kind of doing something as well. My son starts crying, and it's that feeling of like, oh my gosh, I need to be in 6 different places at this one time, and I can't because my son's crying, so I need to attend to him. I know he's not crying for anything important. He just wants attention, or maybe he dropped his banana on the floor and it's not in front of him. I know it's something serious, but that idea of like, okay, I need to be in 6 different places right now. I can't focus, finish this, and then I'll go to him, So then sometimes so what I was doing, I was like, shh, 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 shh. And my son stopped crying, and I was like continuing to do that. My husband's like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I didn't want him to cry. I was like, just kind of shh, 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 calming him down. He's like, but he stopped crying. I was like, okay, fine. So I was doing it for myself. And that kind of just helped. It was just like me breathing, focusing, me just kind of like, I needed to be in so many different places, and I can only be in the present. So just shh, thinking about my breath, it really helped.
Well, it's like a meditation thing, isn't it? Thinking about your breathing sort of thing.
Yes.
But I don't think you're supposed to go shh, 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 shh. If it helps you.
I recommend it. Next time next time you are in a stressful situation, just say, shh, 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 shh. But maybe don't do it like in a meeting or anything. You might get weird looks.
You'll either become unstressed or get arrested.
Yeah, because they're like, crazy person.
Can I tell you what stresses me?
Yeah, I want to know what stresses you out and what you do to calm down.
This is very unusual because all my life, really, since I was a little kid, for some reason I've really wanted to be like friends with people. It was really important to me when I was little, so I've always told jokes and things to like not get people on side, but to be liked. For some reason it's always been really important for me to be liked and to like people, and I'm very good at seeing the good in people. Yeah. But unfortunately, this story is not about something that stresses me, Jennifer. It's about someone. And there's one person. No. There's one person I work with. She's just here for the summer. And my goodness, she is so good at pushing my buttons. It's unreal. And normally, if I am annoyed or stressed by somebody, I am very good at thinking, so what is it about me? How could I be better about that? And maybe I'm not giving them enough time to, etc., etc. I try to talk through it to myself and make myself better. But honestly, this person just drives me crazy. And I've tried to be calm and try to rationalize it. And it's nothing in particular. I mean, I help out with a lot of technology at school, and she has a different problem twice a day, whereas everybody else has a problem once in a blue moon. Never, very rarely. And she keeps sending me messages all the time. She's got a very shrill... I won't talk too much because I'll get stressed and I'll have to go shh, 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 shh to myself. But this lady... And I've just maybe got to accept the fact that no matter what I do, we're just kind of opposite kind of people, and that she just annoys me, and that's just how it is. And no amount of me thinking about it or talking about it, unfortunately, this lady, who I'm sure for other people is a nice person, just really pushes my buttons. It's really unusual for me.
She gets under your skin.
As I say, I won't talk about her too much. Because I start to get a bit stressed out about it.
But I just want to kind of bring something to both of our attention. I could maybe like hear your voice changing a little bit as you like talked about this situation that's stressful.
Myself.
And then, when I was like talking about the situations I was doing, it was like, and then we kind of like get that stress. But how good does talking about it feel?
Yeah, very nice, actually. And it's very calming. I think when you are in the middle of talking about it, you're probably reliving some of those stressful moments. But I think it's a real release afterwards. And I think you maybe sleep better or feel calmer. Yes, thank you for listening.
Yeah, back at you.
Yeah.
I'm a huge advocate for, therapy or counseling, talking about venting, as we call it, venting and getting something off your chest. I think it is incredibly important for the mind and the soul.
And not to, we've spoken before about bottling things up and keeping things inside. But I must say, the last word on this subject, when I've occasionally said, I find this person at work very stressful, they've said, yeah, me too. Everybody does. Yeah. So, yeah.
It's always nice when you're negative, feel like, that you're kind of justified. In the end, you're not like, oh, okay, well, it's not me. Maybe she is a difficult person. Some people are difficult, and that just is what it is.
Yeah, sure. And yeah, you're right. And I try not to think about it too much. And, I wish her well. I don't wish her any ill will. And I just find what's really interesting is how other people maybe try to push it's really hard, honestly, to push my buttons. I don't rise to any bait, but she has a natural skill at getting under my skin. Can I ask, is life in 2017 more stressful than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, our parents, our do you think life, or do you think that's a myth? Because people say, it's a lot more stressful now. What do you think?
That's a great question. I don't think there's one black and white or one direct answer. I think there's kind of two sides to that coin. I think the argument is easy to make that, yes, it is stressful because I think as society, we are living faster. We have all of our technology. We have our high-speed internet. We have high-speed internet. We want it now. We want everything yesterday. We're like there's that idea of like the rat race and climbing the corporate ladder and getting to the top and always getting from point A to point B as fast as you can, as best as you can, that's what I think. It kind of seems that a lot of the world is that way, pushing for this technological advances, where, I don't know, 50 years ago, like there just wasn't that need to advance as quick and as fast, and we needed everything now, and so that's kind of where my thought goes at first, that before it just seemed like a slower pace, and the slower pace was acceptable. It was the norm. Would you agree?
Yeah, and that was my initial reaction as well. I mean, just like examples from sport. I mean, thousandths of a second and hundredths of a second. Everything is so precise, and everything, like you say, runs so clinically and so tightly. But then, while you were talking, I was thinking, but 100 years ago, people got a lot sicker. Or maybe were hungry. More people were hungry. And being hungry is pretty stressful.
Yeah. Not getting any of our basic needs would be incredibly stressful.
Shelter and things like that. I'm sure homelessness and all those major issues were huge, and have got, in that way, the world's really improved. And there's incredible problems on the planet, of course, but generally the world is becoming a better place, I think, with regards to statistics over things like poverty and people having places to live and things like that. The world's getting better, I think. So it's difficult, isn't it? Like you say, there's two sides. So were you going to say the other side?
Kind of on that same note of with technology, with advances, with that kind of stuff, things do get better. Things are improving. Diseases are, we're finding cures for diseases. So now you're no longer stressed about having this disease or getting that disease because you know you can get it. I mean, that's a really kind of basic, superficial type example for a much more complex thing. But I think that's kind of the other side to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Agreed.
And talking kind of about, like, piggybacking on your comment of, like, being hungry is stressful. Stress biologically is a response for survival, right?
Indeed. Yeah, good point.
So is stress ever a good thing?
That was my next question.
We're so on the same page.
Yeah. Well, obviously, in a way, of course, I mean, I just mentioned this is purely coincidental. But of course, if you're losing a sports game, a soccer match, and you want to win, you get stressed when you think you're going to lose, and that, I'm sure, releases adrenaline into your body. So, and if you're stuck on the side of a mountain, you'll feel stressed, and again, you'll feel afraid, you'll feel fear and adrenaline. So, I mean, it's a necessary sort of biological response to a difficult situation. But then, I don't know if you meant this, but when I was going to ask you, I mean, like, in your life, as it is, not as in like a desperate situation where it's life or death and fight or flight, but in your life or in my life, in our lives, listeners as well, is stress a good thing? Is that what you meant?
Yes. More or less, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, is stress a good thing? I'm not sure, actually. Of course, as I just said, if I'm in a difficult situation, then yes. If I have a deadline, then yes. But then would I like a stress-free life, a completely stress-free life? I'm actually not sure. I'd have to think about it. So I have nothing in my life that is maybe difficult, or nothing in my life that's a challenge, or no deadlines to meet. So I don't know if I'd like a completely stress-free life. I've never thought about it. What do you think?
The number one question that came in my head when you said that was, is there even such a thing as a stress-free life?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that I think human nature, like stress, as we mentioned, is a need for survival. It's kind of, basically speaking, again, superficially speaking, just to make it easy to understand and continue a conversation about it, is stress is going to be like a warning, like ding, 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 something is wrong, change something, do something, get yourself out of the situation in some way.
Yeah.
And so I think it's kind of going back. I think it is a good thing in the sense that maybe it's necessary to make changes to something that could be really dangerous or unhealthy. But then I think with every new way of life, like, there's going to be new stresses, I think the easiest thing is, like, people stress about money. Oh, okay, so then I win the lottery. Are you going to be stress-free? No, because then new stresses would come with this, unlimited amounts of money. Safety could come into play, People maybe want to, like, get that money, or, I don't know. There's that TV show, like, The Curse of Winning the Lottery.
Yeah, sure. Can I throw a statement at you and just tell me what you think?
Give it to me.
If you have no stress in your life, then you're not trying hard enough.
God, that's nice.
Is that true? Is that right?
Well, I think that kind of means, like, if you have no stress, you're not really challenging yourself.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
That's what I thought. You're not really putting yourself in any situation to learn, to grow, to be different, to help others, to take a risk, even, like, selfishly for, like, an adventure type purpose. I don't know.
Well, some of the greatest, I mean, in inverted commas, sort of like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, some of these real people who've changed the planet, they've made so many mistakes, and people who are really, really, really successful talk with such pride and with such clarity and such sort of belief in the value of mistakes. But mistakes are really stressful. So I think in order to be able to achieve or to really do something with your life, I think stress has to be a factor, doesn't it? It's got to be.
Yeah.
If you're going to achieve,
Yeah.
Last question.
Yes.
De-stress, detoxification. How do we? Because, I mean, we've just said that, we need stress. And, I mean, on the one hand, that means that we're striving for things. But, I mean, we get into very stressful, and it's horrible to be in a really stressful situation. Is there any advice you could give to me and our listeners about how to just chillax?
Chillax, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, this episode could be quite heavy in the sense of I feel like we could actually go so many different ways with stress as well.
Yeah.
But just in the spirit of kind of keeping it lighter in a sense, you definitely got to find out what works for you. So how either one of us de-stress could be completely different. And I think there's a little bit of trial and error too.
Yeah.
You may think it works, but it doesn't. Me personally, lately, I am all about like getting some time by myself, truly by myself. I don't even want a phone near me. I don't want connection to anyone or anything. And just giving some time to me, myself, and my thoughts,
Good.
You could go down like the meditation path, just being mindful, journaling, just trying to get really aware of what I'm feeling, why I'm feeling it, and, making a change if I need to, breathing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Breath and just being mindful of it, I think, is the most important thing and the first step in turning it around and de-stressing.
And I think that not sort of wittingly, not really consciously, but me being outside, there's so many beautiful footpaths on this island, Britain, in my country. And it's so nice to get away from the houses. You can't see anything that's man-made. You're just wandering through the fields, maybe chatting with my daughter. And for me, sort of, I think I do agree with you about sort of like maybe meditation or thinking about your breath and things and finding peace and finding quiet, literally finding quiet as in being alone, but also finding quiet in your mind. But for me as well, sort of getting out into the countryside is amazingly, you come back into your sort of world, I think, feeling cleansed and fresh and ready to go again.
Love it. Yeah.
Great! What a great topic, and could almost go on for another hour or so. I feel we've only just scratched the surface.
Yes, as always, as with everything we get in, we kind of fall down that rabbit hole, and we could go on and on and on and on. But
yeah, and if anybody would like to, either write to us via our email or on Facebook and let us know about how much stress you've got or how much stress you haven't got, or if you disagree with us about stress, or if you've got a great antidote, if you've got a way for us to become unstressed, we would love to hear from you.
Yes, and just a quick little plug. If you, our dear ponder and our dear listener, are feeling stressed about your English, if you feel stressed about your current level of English, your ability to listen, your ability to communicate, then let us help you. We've talked about it. You can get our transcript and you can sign up to become a member of English Across the Pond. And our English Across the Pond members have access to even more learning opportunities and practice with transcripts and study plans. So let us help you de-stress in English.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Great talking. Thank you for sharing your stressful thoughts and secrets. And all it's absolutely fantastic chatting with you. And until next week.
Until next week. Thanks everybody for listening. We wish you a beautiful, beautiful week. See you next time.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Hello, it's time for the language focus, and we thought that this week, because we're talking about stress, it might be a good idea to talk about syllables and stress. This kind of stress is of course, completely different to the kind of stress that Jennifer and I were talking about. This is syllable stress. What is a syllable? A syllable is an individual sound. So, for example, computer has 3 syllables. Tomorrow has 3 syllables. But Intelligent, intelligent, has 4 syllables. So English words are made up of different sounds. These sounds are put together to make words. Syllable stress. What is stress? This means some syllables are bigger or stronger than others. So we don't say computer. They are not all evenly stressed. The middle syllable, computer, is stressed. Computer. And in the word intelligent, we don't say intelligent, intelligent, and we don't say intelligent, intelligent. It's the second syllable, the tell, that is pronounced or stressed more strongly. So we say intelligent, intelligent. So in that word there are 4 syllables and the second one is stressed. Okay, so we're going to take a look at some countries and look at the different syllable stress that we can find in countries. So first of all, there are countries with only 1 syllable. Can you think of any? Thinking. I've got 4, and they are France, Greece, Laos, and Spain. So we don't say France, it's just one sound. France, Greece, Laos, and Spain. It's not Spain, it's Spain. Countries with 2 syllables are Russia, Thailand, China, Brazil, and Japan. Did you notice a difference between the first 3 and the last 2? Listen again. Russia, Thailand, China, Brazil, and Japan. You may have noticed that the last 2, Brazil and Japan, have the stress on the second syllable, whereas the first 3, Russia, Thailand, and China, have the stress on the first syllable. A good way to emphasize this syllable stress is to say the words the other way round with the stress on the wrong syllable. So instead of Russia, we say Russia, Russia. And suddenly it sounds very wrong. Thailand, which is right, would become Thailand, Thailand. And China would become China, China, which is wrong. And with the other 2, with the stress on the second syllable, if we change it to the first syllable, we would change from Brazil to Brazil, Brazil. And it's funny, isn't it? And Japan, Japan would become Japan, Japan, which again sounds crazy. Words with countries or words with 3 syllables: Germany, Mexico, and Canada, and Honduras and Malaysia. Again, there's a difference between the first 3, Germany, Mexico, and Canada, and the last 2, Honduras and Malaysia. And if you can't hear it, I'll tell you the difference is with the first 3, the syllable stress is on the first syllable, Germany. It's not Germany, and it's not Germany. Mexico. It's not Mexico or Mexico. It's Mexico. And Canada. Not Canada, Canada, or Canada, Canada, it's Canada. With the second 2, Honduras, the stress is in the middle, and Malaysia, the stress is in the middle. I don't think there are any countries with the stress on the last syllable. I don't think there are any 3-syllable countries with the stress on the last syllable. But if we take Japan and think of the language or the people, Japanese. Hello, I speak Japanese. It's not Japanese or Japanese. And also the language of Brazil, the language of Portugal, Portuguese. Again, it's not Portuguese or Portuguese, it's Portuguese. Okay, this is syllable stress. If you're interested, if you'd like to learn more, honestly, I don't think it's a good idea to sit with a dictionary looking at the syllable stress and saying individual words. The way to do this is to be aware of it, to listen out for it when you're listening to English and when you're reading English to yourself, when you're watching movies. Just be aware of it. It does help you sound more natural. Remember, it's Brazil, not Brazil. Okay, thank you very much.